Hey everybody. Okay, look. I had a thought. Is it possible that humanity itself has existed for billions of years instead of just thousands and thousands of years? Is it possible that our evolution is stuck in some kind of a weird loop because we're incapable of learning how not to fuck ourselves up? Okay? I mean, we all sit here and we take for granted that carbon dating and all those other scientific ideas for how long we've been here and how long things existed for, and that dinosaurs were here, 65 million years ago and blah, 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 blah. What if we're all wrong? What if there's been some kind of epic mistake in all this dating, in all this, historical ideas? And what if we've actually been here, had an extinction level disaster, and been thrown back into the Dark Ages time and time again, and we've left ourselves little clues here and there, such as in the stories of the Titans and the gods, or stories of Adam and Eve and in what's in the Bible. I mean, for example, let's look at Prometheus. He was a Titan, and he stole the secret of fire and gave it to mankind. He stole the secret of fire from the gods. And as his punishment, the gods, Zeus himself, cursed Prometheus to a miserable fate, that he would have to live up on a mountaintop where an eagle would swoop down from a nest and peck out his liver every day, only for that liver to grow back and be pecked out again the following day. Now that miserable fate is interesting, because back then, when that story came to be, humanity didn't know that the liver, besides the skin, was the only other organ capable of regenerating. So, when we hear stories like this, what are we to think? How did they come up with them? Where did they come from? Is it possible that mankind actually had technology similar to what we have today, if not beyond it? And that some kind of horrific, devastating event occurred, gut-punching us back into the Stone Age? Because, I mean, think about it, folks. If today we had a nuclear disaster or a meteor strike that wiped out a majority of civilization, how many of you know how to build a car? How many of you know how to make a computer chip and put it into a computer and make a computer work? How many of you know how to make a cell phone? Sure, we know things like algebra, geometry, mathematics, things that were taught to the Greeks at some point in time, and we don't know when, but we don't know how to teach people things like genetic engineering, in vitro fertilization, how to make a condom. Oh wait, well, they did know how to make them out of, lamb intestines back then, but how many of you know how to make a latex condom? Huh, really? Do you? So, now, here we go. This is where religion comes in. Because if these things happened in the past, then as a way to leave a footprint or some kind of messages back in time so that we don't repeat these same mistakes, we might write them down into legends or into fables or something like that. For example, there's the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah, the stories of Moses and the tablets. These are all things that perhaps we wrote in order to help us from repeating some of those same mistakes. I mean, as you can tell today, obviously our societies are degenerating into, horrifying cesspools of humanity. For example, there's LA, the biggest cesspool of them all. I mean, for God's sake, they have Paris Hilton, and I'm pretty sure she's, everyone worships her and everything, but I'm pretty sure she's legally retarded. And so, by having all of these idols and everything that we worship, I mean, the Bible tells us that idolatry is a bad thing. We're not supposed to worship other beings or other objects as the supreme beings. Probably not because, there's an actual real God that sent these messages himself, but as a warning sign that we gave to ourselves to be careful, because if we start worshiping people as gods and as the role models for us to live by, then we will suddenly find ourselves in a society that's degenerated into nothing more than a giant gang war I mean, you know, the terrorists in America is nothing but the largest gang war in history. You know, and they're fighting over what? What? It's not land. It's not freedom, because God knows America is not free. You know, what are they fighting over? Oil? Well, if that's the case, then, you know, America's pretty much won, you know, the Middle East. So, and our gas prices still aren't lower. So was it really over oil? I mean, honestly, what's going on here? We're repeating previous mistakes. I'm convinced of it. So, what's to happen next? Well, who knows? But if this has happened in the past, I tell you, it's going to happen again. And chances are we're going to find ourselves in another extinction-level disaster. Probably a nuclear war. And if that nuclear war happens and we all get thrust back into the Dark Ages again, it won't be long until we degenerate into the Stone Age. And we'll all be stuck here, living the tribal lives, hunting and gathering, with no more knowledge than how to make it from today to the next day. Oh, well, then there'll also be the nuclear winter and everything else we'll have to worry about. And God knows, what are we going to do? Because right now we're living in our comfortable houses with our vices and, you know, with all our other faults. Excuse me, faults and issues. So live it up, folks, because we're on our way out again.